He was a judge. He was not someone who had ever had experience in this kind of thing, but he decided he was going to go and do it, and essentially moved for 6 weeks into the bowels of hell. I am Scott, and I am the son of Ron and Miriam Radley. They are two people who were my parents, but also incredible examples for being generous and being kind and being helpful and being loving for people around the world. Dad was watching TV late one night, and they had a news report or something, and decided that he was going to use his vacation and go over and work in the feeding camps. One of the people he worked with, his son, was the chief foreign correspondent for CBC News, who had been over in Ethiopia covering this story. And so Dad reached out to this person and said, what do I need to know? And basically the reporter said, there's nothing I can tell you that's going to prepare you for what you're going to see. This is the famine that spurred the Live Aid concert and had all kinds of people around the world trying to help these people who were starving in Ethiopia. And he was a judge. He was not someone who had ever had experience in this kind of thing, but he decided he was going to go and do it, and essentially moved for 6 weeks into the bowels of hell. So he talked about parts of it when he got home, but not all of it. And I think that's because a lot of it was honestly horrible. As far as you could see, it was just starving people. And along the road, just bodies that had been left because they had died on the way to a feeding center. And he's there with limited resources, having to start helping decide who is too far gone already, that they're not going to survive, and who can we feed that will help them survive. And he described it as almost playing God, that you have to decide who's going to live or die. You know, as they did that, their faith really grew. Driving across the African countryside in a car with no GPS back then, they've got hand-drawn maps that are going somewhere. You pray a lot when your car breaks down in the middle of the desert almost, and you don't know how to fix a car. Mom would always tell the story that they prayed and the car started up right away. You would think that maybe these things would shake your faith. These things did the opposite. These things built their faith. He started going every Saturday to learn how to drill wells, because he saw that well drilling was going to be something that could be useful in Africa. And so he would go every Saturday for the day and worked doing this stuff with guys so he could become a certified well driller and then go to Africa on other trips and do that. They had a photo of them holding a map that they had put stickers on in every place that they had been, and stickers were everywhere. This was their thing. This was what they did. They would occasionally go away on just a trip, but more often than not, they would take trips and go places that nobody else would think to go. Yeah, so Dad died 2 years ago, Mom died last year. There was a list of people that my sister and I had to call to let them know, and we were calling people around the world. One of the things, we asked a number of them to make a short video that we could show at their ceremony, and all the things they said all talked about their kindness and their generosity. It didn't matter if you were the mayor of a town or you were the lowest person in that village, they were treating you equally and keeping up with you and praying for you. So yeah, as they got older, they slowed down, but all along, one of the things, and the irony of this is they would probably hate that I'm even talking about this, because one of their absolute fundamental beliefs was, you don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. You don't ever announce your generosity. You don't ever tell anyone that you did something kind, you just do it. I think that the thing that I take from this is the idea that you can always be kind to someone, and you can always help someone, and whether you have money or whether you don't have money, whether it's time or something else, they always seem to find a way, whether it was just calling someone and offering advice, or whether someone did need some help financially, or whether it was just going for lunch and checking in on them. They always seem to find a way to connect and to help. And they were busy people. If they could do it, then probably I can find some time to do it for somebody too.